So in breaking news, the Supreme Court has handed President Trump another win, and it's a major legal setback for Democrats. Also, Joe Biden made a disastrous appearance. You're not going to want to miss that. And finally, Elon Musk and President Trump held a press conference in the Oval Office. Some great moments there.
Just as an example, Doge canceled $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, $101 million, and that was just a small section of the Department of Education. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City, and the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City, $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. In Burma, does anyone know about Burma? $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda.
Okay, so that was President Trump reading off all of the accomplishments from Elon Musk and the Doge team. Listen, his efforts should be celebrated because at the end of the day, he had to show Congress where the money was going. Even they didn't know. So although we weren't able to get to that $1 trillion number that he really believes in because of bureaucracy, Congress, just the way the federal government is set up, it's too insulated to allow someone like him to come in and truly slash spending, right? And we still are looking for those recession packages, which we're going to hear about that here shortly. But he should be celebrated. And that's exactly what President Trump did today. And as an example, here's President Trump giving him a golden key to the White House. Take a look.
A little special something we have here.
Thank you.
A very special that I give to very special people. I have given it to some, but it goes to very special people, and I thought I'd give it to Elon as a presentation from our country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you. This is a lot. The luck of this is amazing.
A large luck.
Okay, so that was nice of President Trump to do something like that for Elon Musk. It's well deserved, as I stated earlier. The effort should be celebrated, but due to how divisive our country is and really how unhinged and mean the mainstream media is, where they purposely don't report on the truth, it's just not going to happen. Now, let's go to this next clip where Elon Musk is stating that Doge is not going away. It's just beginning. Take a look.
This is not the end of Doge, but really the beginning. My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing. It's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that it comes with a time limit. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time. The Doge influence will only grow stronger. It's I'd liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government. And I'm confident that over time we will see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction. The calculations of the Doge team thus far, in terms of an FY25 to FY26 delta, are over 160 billion, and that's climbing. We expect that number will probably go over 200 billion soon.
All right, so before we keep moving here, if you guys have been getting value from our channel and this video, please like, share, and subscribe. You want to support us further? In the link in the description below, you could buy us a cup of coffee. And don't forget, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Okay, so that's good news that Doge isn't going away. I mean, these people are actual government employees, in case you didn't know that, because mainstream media likes you to believe that people who work under Doge somehow are just separate people, I guess. Now, let's go to President Trump responding to the appeals court who overruled the International Trade of Court in Manhattan when it came to his tariffs yesterday. Take a look.
I mean, I was so honored that we got that ridiculous stay lifted, because that would have taken away presidential power. It would have taken away everything that was granted by the founders. It would have been a terrible thing. And it would have, most importantly, would have left us vulnerable. We have a lot of countries that use tariffs on us and use them viciously, actually, viciously. And if we didn't have the power to use tariffs on them, and instantly, not when you go back to Congress and try and get hundreds of people to agree on something, that would take months to get just one simple proclamation. If we didn't have the power to counteract their powers, you wouldn't have a country left. We have to act fast. We have to be fast and nimble, as they say. And that was a really great moment, I think, yesterday when that stay was lifted. And hopefully now we'll go to court and just win that battle. Because if we don't have the power to do what they're doing to us, we are going to be a great nation no longer.
See, that's the one fact that mainstream media and most people are not talking about. And that is the only person that you should be directing your frustration to, whether you support what President Trump is doing and you're not seeing his agenda enacted, or you don't support what he's doing and you want to see his agenda stopped, it's Congress. They are the people who really should be getting a lot of this heat, and they're not. Now, let's hear Mr. Vo, okay? Here he is giving us an update on the Doge cuts and how they're going to go about making them happen. Take a look.
Next week, we're sending the first of many rescission bills to Congress, $9.4 billion, mostly of USAID cuts to get rid of the extent of which it has been woke and weaponized against the foreign policy, not only of our country, but of other countries, and Corporation for Public Broadcasting and NPR. And it's the first of many because we need to see whether Congress will pass it. We think they will, but it's very important that it pass and pass in both the House and in the Senate. And one of the reasons we have been working with Congress is to make sure it in fact does. We've been working behind the scenes with House appropriators. And the president said something very important in that press conference, which is we don't need to pass rescissions for all of the Doge cuts. There are ways that we can just not spend the money through the executive tools that we have at our disposal. One of those is impoundment. That is very much on the table. And so for the watching public, when you hear making Doge cuts permanent, there are different ways and strategies of dealing with each particular type of federal funding. We have identified about $160 billion in fiscal year 26,
right,
additional in fiscal year 25, and we will be making those permanent through our tools that are at our disposal.
Well, listen, I like action. Show me the results, and then I will buy what you're saying, right? Because, again, if they don't get these recession packages, if they don't codify Doge cuts, it will really be, I think, a stain on this presidency. And that's my own personal opinion. Now, let's go to the other breaking news of today, which is huge. Supreme Court ruled in favor of President Trump a second time as pertains to his ability to revoke temporary protective status. Hear it for yourself.
Now from the U.S. Supreme Court, the president has notched a win a moment ago. The U.S. Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to revoke the temporary legal status for hundreds of thousands of immigrants. Now, they come from 4 countries: Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua. They came into the country through an app that was established during the Biden presidency years. And for the moment, it appears that the Trump team, they've made it their objective to deport those who came in illegally. This would be a win for the administration, handed down by the U.S. Supreme Court just a few minutes ago. So that's the latest. Watching that from Washington, D.C.
Okay, so bottom line up front, this is a major legal victory for President Trump and his administration. This is the second time the Supreme Court has ruled in his favor as pertains to revoking temporary protective status. This is a major setback for Democrats. And let me just explain to you the ideology behind this, right? So people on the left, they look at all of this as a humanitarian crisis. They believe these people are undocumented and that we should find a way to keep them here in this country permanently. People on the right, including myself, I don't support that idea. If you cross the border illegally, you're out, okay? That's number one. And number two, if you were on temporary protective status, sooner or later that status must end. According to the Biden administration, they wanted to continue to extend it. So this is the right move. And again, Supreme Court has ruled twice in favor of President Trump as it pertains to revoking temporary protective status. But hey, we still got to see what both sides are saying. Let's take a look at MSDNC. I don't think they're handling it that well. Take a look.
Yeah, it was a 7-2 decision. That means that all the conservative justices and Justice Elena Kagan voted together on this case to allow President Trump to end these protections for more than 500,000 individuals from Cuba, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, and from Venezuela. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissented in this opinion. They said, quote, "It undervalues the devastating consequences of allowing the government to precipitously upend the lives and livelihoods of nearly 500,000 non-citizens while their legal claims are pending. Now, this could, of course, change, right? Because the appeals court could reverse what the Supreme Court has said here, and then it could go back to the Supreme Court. But this all started where a Massachusetts U.S. district judge said the administration could not just sweep this away entirely without these individualized determinations. Now, the Trump administration argued you can't individually determine with 500,000 people in any sort of specific amount of time. It needs to be done faster. It needs to be done as a block. That's something the Supreme Court said, actually, you can.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Justice Jackson and Justice Sotomayor believe that President Trump's decision here is upending the lives of 500,000 undocumented migrants. Well, number one, let's correct the record. These are illegal aliens who crossed the border illegally. And then it was later that the Biden administration granted them temporary protective status. Understand what I just said. Okay, so there's that. And then secondly, what about the American citizens and the lives that were upended because of the incompetence from Joe Biden? That is a fair statement. That's not partisan. That's the truth. Rachel Morin, okay, Laken Riley, and many others that the news never reported. Okay, so Stephen Miller made an appearance on CNN to react to the Supreme Court ruling. I think you're going to find this exchange between him and Pamela Brown very interesting. Take a look.
Do you think a judge should just rubber stamp what your White House does? If not, what checks and balances do you think should be in place for this White House?
It is not the job of a district court judge to perform an individual green light or red light on every single policy that the president takes as the head of the executive branch. Just think about the premise baked into your question, respectfully, Pam. You're saying that when the American people elect a president of the United States of America,
I'm not saying
well, it's the implication, who is the sole head of the executive branch. Well, let me finish. I will answer the question happily. But look, when you have these kinds of lazy assumptions built into questions, it makes it hard to have a constructive dialogue.
What is a lazy assumption? I said you all had to win.
You said no. You said, is it my expectation?
I'm speaking
you said,
because now you're putting...
You said, is it my expectation? It's not just you. It's the whole media. In other words, when you
I know
hear
you
a sentence like...
It is a completely fair question. You say judges who rule against the White House.
And I will gladly answer it. When you say, do we think district court judges should rubber stamp each action? There is a premise that is built into that is absurd. The president is the sole head of the executive branch. He's the only officer in the entire government that's elected by the entire American people. Democracy cannot function. In fact, democracy does not exist at all if each action the president takes, foreign policy, diplomatic, military, national security, has to be individually approved by 700 district court judges.
Okay, well, fact of the matter is that is the main issue, folks. So through all the rhetoric and all of the noise, the actual issue is that district court judges are issuing injunctions that handicaps the president's authority. It didn't matter if it was Kamala Harris or President Trump. It's an issue regardless. And the only person that can solve it is Congress. Now, what's the likelihood they're actually going to do something about it? I say slim to none. But hopefully they finally do address it. Now, here's Stephen Miller correcting Pamela Brown because she's still calling these people undocumented when we both know these are illegal aliens. Take a look.
Undocumented migrant sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that. But this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified that.
You said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there. That's getting away from the
question,
question, Stephen. I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
All right,
an illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another day.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
See, I told you that's the fundamental difference between people on the left and people on the right. They called them undocumented migrants. Guys, that is a watered down word instead of just saying they're illegal aliens, okay? And illegal alien is not a derogatory term, okay? But because Democrats are all about woke language and being politically correct and not hurting people's feelings, they like to say things like that. And I'm glad Stephen Miller corrected her for the record. Okay, so now this takes us to the next question that she had for Stephen Miller, and it was about Elon Musk, out of all people. I guess mainstream media is so stuck on the idea that Elon Musk should be drug tested. Take a look.
Was there any drug testing or any request for him to drug test when he was in the White House, given the fact that he was also a contractor with the government?
Fortunately for you and all the friends at CNN, you'll have the opportunity to ask Elon all the questions you want today yourself. In the meantime, the drugs I'm concerned about are the drugs that are coming across the border from the criminal cartels that are killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. And we're going to save hundreds of thousands of lives if these district courts would just get the hell out of the way, stop destroying our Constitution, stop taking authority they don't have, and allow the president to do the job that not only he was elected to do, but the constitutional laws of the United States vest him exclusively to do.
Let's go to our next story, and this is Joe Biden making an appearance today. And this is just a prime example of why no one should allow him to speak ever again. Listen to what he said here. Take a look.
This day is the 10th anniversary of the loss of my son, Bo, spent a year in Iraq. And to be honest, it's a hard day. His son and I, Hunter, who's here in the crowd, I don't know where you're sitting, Hunter, but all the way in the back there. His daddy came to this event with me about the same age when he started. He just graduated from high school, heading off to college.
Two things are true at the same time. Number one, Joe Biden saying that Hunter Biden is the son of Bo Biden and that Hunter Biden is the grandson that's still here today. Listen, it's just sad to hear that because we know that's not true, clearly. And the second thing that is true is that they should not allow him to keep speaking knowing he's going to do things like that. It just continues to not just hurt him, but what does that say about his wife, his family, knowing his condition, right? And it's just not a good look overall. So, I mean, that's how I see it. Now, unfortunately, the media felt the need to prop him up once again to show just how delusional they are. Take a look at this exchange.
Everybody sorry. I've done it all because I'm loyal. I do it every damn year from the very beginning. I never forget where I came from. That's why.
I feel like everybody didn't know what to expect of you today, and then you get here and you're speaking powerfully, you look good, you're confident. What do you say to all those people? Don't count you out.
Well, I say lots of luck in their senior year.
All right, so you're supposed to be a journalist, a reporter, which means you're looking for the truth. Just the fact that he asked the question the way that he did tells me that there are people still in the media that are holding on to this after it's been debunked. Jake Tapper is selling books about this, for Christ's sakes. It's just utterly a disaster. Now, things got even worse. Take a look at this.
And there's also been a lot of discussion recently about your mental and physical capabilities while you were in office.
You can see that. I'm mentally incompetent and I can't walk and I can beat the hell out of both of them.
Do you want to reply to any of those reports and also to the fact that there are some Democrats who are now questioning whether you should have run for re-election in the first place?
Why didn't they run against me then? Because I'd have beaten them.
All right, so that's Biden being Biden once again, claiming that he can beat anybody just because in 2020 somehow he got 81 million votes. All right? You think he would have got 81 million votes again after that debate against President Trump? Give me a break. All right, so now it's a good time to get your guys' reaction in the comment section to a couple of these stories, starting with Elon Musk and President Trump. Again, I just think the way that the media has treated Elon Musk, even if you disagreed with his statements, the way they went after him, I think, just shows you how petty and how low mainstream media is at this point. Give me your reaction to that. And the second one is the Supreme Court ruling in favor of President Trump for the second time as it pertains to temporary protective status. Democrats claim that this is a humanitarian crisis. Republicans know that this is a national security issue, and you just can't allow people to cross the border illegally. Leave all your answers in the comment section below. Okay, so speaking of Elon Musk, it was yesterday that we covered a story where he has been criticizing the GOP for good reason. So have I. I think they're incompetent. They haven't accomplished anything. I'm talking about people in Congress as it pertains to the big, beautiful bill and their failure to codify the Doge cuts. So if you missed out on that story and more from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.